Shwmae and welcome. My name is Chris Knight. I'm a former international Wales Sevens player turned outdoor enthusiast and Ordnance Survey champion. To celebrate and to showcase our wonderful yet diverse landscape, I have teamed up with Visit Wales to bring you a series of videos that highlight some of my favourite walks across our wonderful country. First up, I've headed down to the south coast of Wales, where I'm going to be taking a walk along the gorgeous Glamorgan Heritage Coast from Dunraven Bay to Nash Point. So, let's get cracking. The Glamorgan Heritage Coast stretches 14 magical miles from Aberthaw in the east to Porthcawl in the west. Today I'll be walking arguably the most popular and beautiful section of this coastline, which runs between Dunraven Bay and Nash Point. This moderately challenging walk is 8 kilometres one way and involves 300 metres of elevation gain. Although large parts of the walk are across the flat cliff tops, the route does drop into several short but steep bays which some people may find slightly challenging. The great thing about this walk is that you can turn around or bail out at several points, and once you reach the end you can catch the hourly public bus back to Southern Down. So I'll be starting the walk from Dunraven Bay, which I'm stood on now. Often called Southern Down, this beautiful blue flag beach is backed by sedimentary cliffs and is probably one of the most popular in the area. Now you have two options for parking here. You can park up above the beach on the cliffs. Alternatively, you can park down on the shoreline of the beach. There is a small concrete car park. Down here you'll also find toilets, a small kiosk and a visitor centre. If you haven't got a car and you want to reach here by public transport, the 303 Adventure Bus, which runs from Bridgend to Llantwit Major, stops above the beach at the 3 Golden Cups pub. And from there, it's a 1 kilometre walk down to the beach via a main road. Now the hike starts by heading up towards the headland, which is above Dunraven Bay. Now you have two options here. You can follow the grassy path that runs along the cliff top, or you can follow the road up around it to Dunraven Castle. I'm going to take the cliff top, so let's crack on. So after around 600 meters, you'll reach the top of the headland, and from here you'll have stunning panoramic views looking southeastwards, back down the coastline and northwestwards back over Dunraven Bay towards Ogmore by the sea. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now there is a thin strip of headland which juts out from here, which is called Witch's Point. You can explore that, and down to my right you'll also find the ruins of Dunraven Castle. Now people have lived on Dunraven as far back as the Iron Age. Now it was originally a lookout post which was turned into a hill fort by the Romans. It then became a manor house in the 1700s. The last known residence was Dunraven Castle, which was used as a makeshift hospital during the 2 World Wars and was eventually demolished in 1963. Now the ruins which you'll find are all that's left. They have been converted into a walled garden, which is free to have a look around and explore. Once you're done having a look around here, you simply follow the coastal path as it skirts around the cliff top and heads down the coastline. Let's crack on with the walk. Now I'm a little over halfway into this walk, and despite only being 16 miles from the capital of Cardiff, this place gives you a profound sense of remoteness which is hard to find in these parts. Now the majority of this coastline is of a triple SI nature, which is a site of specific scientific interest, and that is because of their high geological and biological importance. The cliffs behind me date back to the Jurassic periods, and the flat limestone beds which line the base of the cliffs are littered with fossils. Now, one thing I would say is that common sense should apply when doing this walk. Please steer well clear of the cliff edges as they are prone to erosion and could collapse at any minute. If you have brought a dog with you on this walk, please do keep it on a lead for those purposes and the fact that these fields do contain sheep. Right, I'm going to push on towards Nash Point Lighthouse. Let's go. Now, a little over 4.5 kilometers into your walk, you'll reach Cwm Nash, also known as Monk Nash Beach. Now, this bay is similar to Dunraven in appearance, however, it is far, far quieter. This is because it's only accessible via a 1-mile walk down a narrow-sided valley from the village of Monk Nash. Another thing to note about this beach is the cliffs that overlook it are apparently home to an ancient burial ground from the 15 and 1600s. Now, because this beach is just over halfway into the walk and you drop down to its shoreline, it's one I'd recommend spending some time to explore. However, if you do stray onto the limestone beds where I am stood, please steer well clear of the cliffs because they are prone to erosion and could collapse at any minute. Right, I'm going to enjoy this beach before pushing on to Nash Point. Now, after 7 kilometers, you'll reach the final stop on this coastal trail, which is Nash Point, situated behind me. This is a stunning rocky bay backed by a sheer-sided sedimentary cliffs, which overlook a bedrock of pools and fossils. Now, the coastal path will take you down to the base of the beach, and if it is low tide, I would recommend strolling out onto the bedrock to admire the rock pools and see if you can find some fossils or even the odd shipwreck. If you do that, take care as the rocks can be slippery, and remember to keep an eye on the tide. Now, behind me is the 37-meter Nash Point Lighthouse, which was built in 1832. You can walk up to the other side of the cliffs and view the lighthouse from below, but unfortunately the public aren't allowed to enter it. Now, Nash Point is also extremely popular with photographers due to its ease of access. There's a car park on the cliffs just above the beach and stunning coastal features. It's also a great spot to watch the sunset. However, I'm going to do that by heading back to Dunraven Bay. Now, from here you have 2 options to get back to the start point. You can either turn around and retrace your steps for 7 kilometers back to Dunraven Bay, or you can do what I'm going to do and follow the road for 1.2 kilometers up to the Horseshoe Inn in Marcross. From outside the pub, you can catch the 303 adventure bus back to the 3 Golden Cups above Dunraven Bay. Make sure you check the bus times online, and if you have got some time to kill, I would recommend calling in to the Horseshoe Inn for a pint or a bite to eat. Right, I'm going to enjoy Nash Point a little bit longer before heading up and catching the bus. Let's go. So I've made it back to the start point of Dunraven Bay. Now, the sun is just setting behind me, and as you can agree, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, a few other things to note about Dunraven Bay. It has featured in numerous TV productions, including 5 episodes of Doctor Who, Merlin and Sherlock. It's also a dark sky reserve, so if you did visit after dark, there is a possibility on a cloud-free night when there's no moon, you'll be able to see the stars and possibly the Milky Way. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you found this useful. I hope you found it enjoyable, and hopefully you'll come down and tackle this walk for yourself. Until next time, diolch yn fawr.